computer. Okay, for the recording. My name's Aaron Lucy. I'm a recording secretary for the Nevada Assembly and also a chairman as well. So today's webinar essentially just is about understanding the wealth mindset and what it takes to actually reprogram your brain and recode it to actually handle this inheritance that's coming in, so we can really nurture what we've been given and take responsibility for the huge mission that we're all going to be basically, have to step into, our divine mission. So that being said, coming back to my story. So first and foremost, I've had a lot of experiences in life where I've had not much money, but there's one in my life that really stands out more than the rest, and where I was really felt like I hit rock bottom. And so essentially, it was 20 years ago, close to 20 years ago. I was studying dance in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and we had to move out of a house that I was basically living in for the first year, and the second year. So because I had to move out, I was basically on a friend's couch essentially, and that was very limited. And so after a week or so, he goes, "Look, you're going to have to move out." And at that stage, my funds were pretty low because essentially my parents, even though I kind of grew up with money, I grew up working, so I had my own cattle because we grew up on 24,000 acres. So I was used to working for money and then having money to spend whenever I want. But when I started at schooling, the money kind of just fizzled out because I stopped working. And so at this stage, because of a 10-year drought, my parents were like millions in debt. And so there was no hope of my parents helping me out. So I was kind of in a very hard situation. And I remember when my good friends, but he said, "Look, buddy, it's time. You have to actually move out. You have to find your own place." And so I'm sitting in my car with all my stuff in the car, and I'm sitting on the side of the road with nowhere to go. And I'm just hanging on the steering wheel and going, "What do I do? I am so scared right now." I remember, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, but I remember calling Mum, and I'm like, "Mum, I'm in a hard spot. I don't know where to go. I can't really call anyone. I don't know what to do. What should I do?" And Mum was obviously a little bit upset, like me, because you hear my voice like it is now. And she goes, "You can get through this. There has been no time in your life where you haven't been provided for, and you come from strength of character and courage. So you can find a way. You can do this. I believe in you." And so together we kind of made a decision that I could, I do have someone I can call. So I end up calling someone. It's kind of my last ray of hope. And it was one of my friends who I went to a dance school with. Her name is Holly. And she said, I said, "Holly, I'm in trouble right now. Can I just crash on your floor for one night?" And she said, of course, yes." And so that basically happened. I got to basically crash on her couch. And the next day I got a new apartment, and then I got a new job, basically riding racehorses early mornings. Like, it was pretty rough, but it basically got me through my dance schooling time. But in hindsight, thinking back on that time, that was really a pivotal point, and that trauma of that situation really created more situations sporadically through my life that really remanifested in order for me to go back to that point and dissolve it, because I had to see all the lessons that I basically got from that lack of wealth, in that time period, so that I could really move forward and transcend that point to get to a point where I can manage money, and I can appreciate money coming in. I can appreciate, the roof over my head, the food on the table, so much more because of that traumatic experience. But we have to realize that we all have similar experiences when it comes to wealth throughout our lives. And so whether it's the exact of being homeless, or it's little things like, oh, how am I going to pay rent, or how am I going to put food on the table? But these are the type of essentially experience that we have in our life that really dictate how we think about wealth and when it comes in. So because, and I'm just going to touch on this quickly, because in that moment, I knew that I really had to essentially figure out ways to how to think like a wealthy person, how to reset my brain, and I think I'm gonna here. And basically three things. So mindset, I knew was one of it, because the way I think about wealth is essentially, it's how I've been brought up, or it's based on trauma that's happened essentially in my life. And the second thing is self-worth, because if you don't think you're worthy of wealth, then one, you won't attract it. And if you do attract it, you'll want to self-sabotage it. So much like love or anything else, if you don't think you're worthy of it, then it's not something that's going to stay with you, because you'll keep pushing it away, as much as possible. And then I knew the third thing is basically the mission I had to basically really focus on, because if you have a big enough mission or divine purpose to essentially have an impact on your life and your family's life and the world, the people of the world, then money will flow to where it has direction and intent. So they're the three things I basically had to basically focus on. So in that moment, I decided I would figure out these things. And so I essentially devoted the last 20 years to learn off some of the wealthiest people essentially in the world who were doing things that I wanted to do, like help other people do the same thing. So I've learned off some incredible people like, Dr. DeMartini. I've got a quote from him coming up, and, Benjamin Harvey and people like this, who essentially lead from their heart, teach, but are wealthy in the first place. Great. Let's talk about essentially, why another reason why I'm doing this today. So what we kind of have to realize is this inheritance that's basically coming in, we have essentially co-created it all together. I'll say it again. We have essentially collectively co-created this inheritance that's coming to all of us, literally all over the world, together. So that's essentially us doing that, even though Anna and her team are doing essentially all the work. But in order to bring this into existence, we all had to pray for this wealth, this inheritance to come in. So along with that comes some responsibility. But I think because we haven't quite realized that we have all manifested this inheritance is coming in, it's kind of halting the manifestation of us to actually be tangible in our hands just a little bit, because we're getting impatient. And when people get impatient when they're trying to manifest stuff, it essentially stops it from basically flowing in. So this is another reason why we have to just talk about this a little bit. So I think when it comes down to it, when you manifest in something into your life, you are essentially creating a relationship that you have to now nurture and bring forth with that relationship, much like a mother does with a son or daughter, or even with a with a puppy. So you manifest, I want a puppy, and you bring that in. So now you're responsible for that puppy to to give it love, to feel gratitude for it, feed it, nurture, that type of thing. So that's something that we really have to broaden our vision and our perception when it comes to this inheritance, because it's essentially your baby. Okay. And a lot of us have done this because we, in our hearts, we could feel that this corrupt system that we're kind of being essentially brought into is not the most purest and, divine form of wealth that we wanted. So, when we look at the money we have in our wallet, we think of it like that money is a representation of the fraud, the systemic fraud, and the corruption, and essentially it's basically blood money. So there's a part in us when we don't want to find the cheat codes to get wealthy with that. Yep. We want the real thing. We want something that comes back to what should have been given to us and has a much higher vibration, higher frequency, and much more heart-centered, so that we can go on and help the world from a foundation of money that is pure and honest. And from that foundation, then we can really go on and impact the world, because that it's not built on lies or deception. So that's why we essentially brought it down to existence. So I really want to tell you that everything's going to work out perfectly. It's all going to be seamless. It's going to come in, and you are going to be in the right mindset to nurture and appreciate this wealth that's going to come into your life. And so I think, it's going to be super fun, but I think we're really going to have to really rely on each other to keep each other accountable. And so that's why, we can really take responsibility and ownership of this wealth and not squander it. Because the truth is, excessive spending will cause harm to you and your family and the balance of essentially mankind. So every purchase has to be done from a place of calmness, evenness, and self-centered. Because if you're spending money just from an ego standpoint, then you're going to manifest situations in your life that you probably won't want to manifest. This is kind of coming back to self-worth again too. So if you don't believe you're worthy of this money, essentially people in the past, it's been basically proven that when they received the lotto, in order to feel worthy of receiving the essentially money, they have manifested an accident where they've basically end up in hospital and almost use that entire amount of money to basically pay for their hospital bills, so they feel like they deserve that money. So I don't want to put a massive damper on it, but just this is kind of the severity we're looking at when we're dealing with massive wealth, because it's changing the foundation of our thought process when it comes to money and what we've been brought up, because the product of the system is us having like mindset. So we have to really jump forward, like quantum leap, to be able to handle this type of wealth. That being said, I have a good little quote here from Dr. John DeMartini. Here we go. Okay. In this, he says, "Nothing of your senses will ever satisfy your soul. Your transient senses give rise to imbalanced perceptions, which result in pain and pleasure oscillations. Your eternal soul gives rise to balanced and perceptions, and knows that pain and pleasure are synchronously, inseparable. It is wise to have the whole sensory world against you than your own soul against you. Immediate sensory gratification costs you, like immediate. So if you're buying things just to feel good about yourself in the short term, it's going to cost you. Long term or eternal soul gratification pays you, endlessly. Aristotle also said, your senses are not fully wise. They say what they experience, but not the reason why. So the experience is, essentially, if a fire is hot, the experience is the heat, but it doesn't know what the heat comes from. But the reason why would be the fire, because that produces heat. So essentially, it's only one half of the equation. You have to basically bring both together to really understand the gravity of it all. Okay, so what is money? Essentially, money is energy. Okay, and more specifically, is kind of a frequency. And so originally, in the beginning, I guess, when money, like you were talking maybe 40,000 years ago, was the first ever written down knowledge of what money was, and it was just form of appreciation. So I believe the first essentially form of appreciation that came was little seashells. You know those little white seashells that you find on the seashore. They're kind of curved, and you sometimes put them around your neck. They make little beads and things. They're the first form of money. And so basically, come down to if you're living in a village and essentially, by the sea, because most people live by the sea, and I know your house had a leak, and so you had no idea how to fix that, but your friend down the road basically he did, and so he come over and fixed it, and so my goodness, thank you so much. I want to give you something, as a token of appreciation for, fixing this leaf so I'm not getting rained on. And so, you know what, these beautiful shells, let this be, just kind of a token. And so that if you ever need me to come over your place and do something for you, then, this will represent that. And whenever you need me, I'll come and I'll help you and whatever way I can, because you've helped me so much. So you can feel the energy, right? And so over time, it has kind of been polluted a little bit, but yes, cowrie shells. That's it. Thanks, Johnny. Yeah. So that's the origin of money. And so we need to go back to that. And so every time you essentially use your inheritance or any money for that matter, it needs to be used in appreciation and gratitude. Now, I'm trying to find a card here, but essentially, if you have a card, it kind of disconnects you from what's really on the card, because you don't really have a tangible, like this is a coin. I don't have any coins on me, but this is a coin, and so you hand a coin over. It's really tangible. Like this, I'm actually paying for. If you've had a gold coin and hand it to someone, like, okay, yeah, that's tangible. Okay, I can feel the gratitude that has frequency. I'm giving that over. So, but we miss out on that because of modern technology. So just as you move forward and you use your card, really have create gratitude with every time you use your card to pay for something, because I'm so grateful that this money that's on this card is basically giving me the opportunity to purchase this food, car, whatever it may be. Okay, and then you're creating that giving and receiving appreciation. It's frequency. It's an oscillation around co-creation that you really need to understand that you are so powerful. And so your creation is coming forth every time you do something, especially when it comes to money. So that's where the responsibility of understanding every step that you make in life, everything that you do is you're creating. So that means you have to take ownership as essentially a loving parent or, a guardian and a custodian of your creation. Okay. So the more you can stay in that mindset, I think the smarter you'll be able to essentially, manage your money going forward. So, when we really look at it, money's a tool. It's a tool like anything else, much like a knife. If you treat a knife with respect and sharpen it and only cut the right things that you're meant to cut, then it's going to work for you. But if you just be cutting everything and it gets blunt and rusty, and it can give you all types of trouble, right? So it's the same with money. There's plenty of let's say less evolved people in the world that use money as a tool to create hurt and harm. And so we need to be very clear that when we use our money, it's not harming you, yourself, anyone basically that you're connecting with. Not saying that you ever will, but it's always just good to just have that kind of out of body experience where you're looking at yourself going, okay, am I seeing everything that I need to see when I essentially make this purchase, or I'm doing this to basically have more gratification, or, that type of thing. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying be very aware, because a part of this whole wealth mindset is being aware of the thoughts that are coming into your mind at any given stage, because a belief is only a thought that you keep thinking about. So if you want to change a belief, how you think about money, then all you need to do is think about something, think about something else. Okay. Okay. That being said, we kind of need to, where we are. Okay. We essentially need to stop thinking with our brains. Okay. When we think with our brains, we tend to overthink. I am one of those ones that, analyze a lot, and it's taken me a lot of years to basically take a step back from what's going on in my mind and really tune into what's going in my heart. Because thinking with heart, basically, that gives you gratitude and opens up the gateway of your heart and lets your ever-present love radiate and shine. So the more you can stay in your heart and really think from your heart, I know, you don't really think from your brain, but think from your heart, the better decisions you will make and the more in alignment you will be for your highest timeline. It's a completely different consciousness. A part of this ascension process really is becoming completely heart-centered. Okay, so our heart is our connection to our higher self, our soul, God, grand organized design, the universe. It all comes from the heart. It doesn't come from the brain. Okay, so the more we stay in tune with our heart, the better decisions we'll make, just as a whole. We're going into this massive shift with ascension. So everyone basically realized that we're going from 3D to 4D. We're in the process of going 4D and then to 5D. So this all has to be done through your heart center. This is where you create your ascension moving forward, how you lift your frequency, how you create a bigger light quota in your cells. It's all through the heart, because when it's heart, it's directly connected to the right source, essentially. So it's going to be a massive shift, and we really have to focus on essentially, doing this through every aspect of our life, but especially with the wealth and inheritance that is coming in. So, okay. So speaking about heart, essentially heart focused, heart consciousness. I just want to do a little, essentially a heart breathing exercise. This is from Christine Moses. I found this, and I think it's really, really kind of special, and it has a big impact for just a couple of breaths. Okay, so if you have some space, essentially, I want you to start out. Actually, let me just stop screen sharing so you can see me. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. So you are going to start. Okay, that's right. Okay, so you're going to start with your hands on your heart in front of here. Okay, so I'm going to explain it first, and then we're going to kind of do it all together. Okay, so heart here. You're going to breathe in on the inhale as it goes up. As it goes up, I have to go back a little bit, and then when it's complete, as you're breathing up, you take your hands to the basically universe, and you're looking up as you go to the heavens. Okay, from there you're going to turn your palms out, and you kind of come down to the to your sides. Yep, and then you're going to bring it back up into the prayer position, and then you're going to basically go up again, breathing in, and then exhale, you're going to breathe out, and the last one, instead of going to your sides, you're going to bring it into your heart. Okay, it's going to be 2 breaths. So the first breath, there we go. Get back to you. Okay, so the first breath. Upon inhaling, extend your arms over your head and looking up to the heavens, taking a full breath in, breathe in. And then open your arms out, bring them down by your sides as you're breathing out, opening your palms as you exhale to breathe in and send love out to the world. Okay. And then when you breathe, you come back to your heart center again, and you're going to breathe in a second time. Again, extending your arms over your head, looking up, palms together. Then we're going to open them, taking a full breath. Sorry, breathing, taking a full breath, looking up, and then open our hands. And as we breathe out, we are going to breathe in the love you receive from the entire world into your heart. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, so remember, the first breath in, we're going up, looking up, and then we open our hands, and then we're giving our love out to the rest of the world. On the second breath in, we're going to breathe up the universe, and then back around, and we're going to bring all the love from the world into your heart. Okay, so one more time. Okay, so hands in your center of chest, breathing in, looking up, all the way up, and then breathing out, and giving love to the entire world, and then bring down to your sides, and now breathing in again, hands together, looking up, and then breathing out, and breathing in the love from the entire world into your heart, bringing it into your heart. Okay. You should be nice and warm right now. Yeah. Okay. So that's just a little bit of giving and receiving, and I think it's a nice little exercise that you can do just to really connect with, not only your heart but the heart of the universe and Mother Earth as well. Okay. So do that as you will. Let me know if you want me to send that through to you too. I'm happy to do that. Okay. Okay. So now. I want to go quickly talk about essentially our ego. Okay, ego really essentially plays a massive part in a lot of our lives, just because essentially life is kind of ego driven, like the whole when it comes to wealth mindset and business and things like that, and having assets and investing, it's all about ego. Well, I did this and I did this and that type of stuff. So we have to be very careful of ego. But one thing about ego is it cannot exist in a state of gratitude that's in your heart. So if you ever feel like you have ego and that a situation could be essentially detrimental to you or whatever's going on, if you can take a second to really find things that you feel grateful about and you keep going till you get some inspiration, inspired inspiration, then you're going to be full heart-centered at that point, and then so ego will cease to exist. But in saying that, this whole ego thing, and I'm definitely one to have some ego too. So this is not me preaching to the choir. This is me too. Okay, so this is what I had this conversation every day, because there's aspects of like, well, I had this thing happen, or this person did this to me, and now I just need to prove them wrong. Now that, and it's like, haha, basically now I have money. Okay, this is going to be kind of a big one for us all, because even me, I sometimes joke. I say, just wait till we have more money than you know what to do with, and you will see. And I'm like, I'll say, I told you so. That is ego, and I will be one to be working on that consistently. But just know that's kind of going to be playing in the background for a lot of us for a hot little minute. Okay, so that if we notice those thoughts coming in based by ego, and then I'm like, I need to prove this person wrong or show them, then we really need to take the higher road for our own preservation of our wealth, and for the rest of humanity too, because this is the collective that we really need to anchor in, and the mindset of heart consciousness that we need to anchor in for this inheritance. Because when that heart consciousness is anchored in with the intent of our inheritance coming in, then we are grounding it out for the rest of mankind to receive their inheritance. So it's very important that we keep on top of our ego, so that we can take responsibility that we are setting the playground for all of humanity to receive their inheritance. So yes, I hope that makes sense. So basically, just think about your purchases as you go along. If you need, first and foremost, make sure everything's set up. Like we need to create some relief. The relief is the first thing. So we don't have to feel like we have to go to work to basically survive. Okay. So cover all your bills, all your things, everything that you need to cover to basically go, okay, there's literally nothing when it comes to wealth that I need to worry about. I have a roof on my head. I have food, clothing. I feel very comfortable and relieved. Okay, you want to get to relieved first. That way, you're really creating the foundation for your wealth. Going, okay, you know what? I do deserve this. I do deserve to feel relief. I do deserve to have this inheritance because this means that I can focus on the things that are always meant to focus on. Okay. So yeah, and this is going to be where you really become aware of your thinking and your motivations. And so if your motivation to be of divine service is at the forefront, you will always make heart-centered, smart purchases, and you will use your money how it was meant to be used. Okay. So because we're all coming from massive lack mindset. Even if you have wealth, even if you have some type of wealth, maybe you had it, there's still programs running in the background, much like my story, which I was telling you about before, which really kind of fosters a lack mindset. So because they are the first programming you've had when it comes to money, because that's what you think about, that comes up in the background, even if you might not be quite aware of it. There's this lack. Well, I'm going to lose this. Something's going to happen. I'm like, okay, money doesn't grow on trees. We aren't made of money. I don't know if anyone else have any stories that you've heard from your parents, like, well, we can't afford that, and it's like, so yeah, things like this. I've got all these little sayings. Oh, money is the root of all evil. That's a good one too. So, especially if you come from a religious background, much like myself, money has always been the root of all evil. I'm like, oh my God, this type of mindset is creating lack, because if the money is the root of all evil, then if I have money, then by that thought process, then I'm evil. I don't want to be evil. I'm like, do I want to be? No, I don't want to be evil. So these are things that we have to be really aware of. Yes, Christina. Yeah, rich people are jerks. Well, yeah. See, so rich people are jerks. So now I'm rich. Am I a jerk? Do I want to be a jerk? But these are things that kind of want us to push away money, and then we're going to really have no choice but to, because it's coming in no matter what. So we can't push it away. So the next best thing is restructuring our mindset. So these funny little sayings that we've heard over time don't have any effect of us, in any way, shape, or form. Jesse, rich people are snobs. Yeah. And so in your experience, that is some of the things that you've basically experienced or heard. And so, I mean, you guys aren't going to be snobs. You guys aren't going to be jerks. You guys aren't going to be, essentially evil. Okay. So that's not you. But again, you have to also realize that the money they're talking about, the money that made them rich, is not actually real money either. It's, yes, Carrie. Rich people are generous. Yes, they are. Yeah, it's a good one to replace. Okay. So again, going back kind of the frequency of money. So all these people and all these sayings essentially have come from, they've created wealth in a corrupt system using money that isn't really money. It's not gold or silver. And so they've kind of cheated and lied. And so don't get me wrong, there's been great people, amazing people in the world that are doing amazing things with that type of wealth. But we're literally transcending all that and coming over to divine pure wealth based on gold, silver, different frequency. It's real money, because the legal term for money is gold and silver. It's not a note. It's not a promissory note. It's not a thing in your wallet or your purse. So it's changing the whole paradigm how we think about wealth. It's such a massive shift of perception when it comes to that type of thing. So okay, 240. Okay, which is a little bit over, but okay, quickly, let me just share this last little screen, and then I'm going to give something really special to you guys. Okay, share screen. Okay, so in some of the greatest teachers that I've actually studied under, they're essentially there's been 4 steps to financial freedom, and so essentially we're going to have financial freedom pretty much from the get-go. So we're kind of, you normally work through these steps and then get to financial freedom, but we're kind of going backwards. Okay, so we have financial freedom, and then we're going to have to basically catch up with these 4 steps to basically have that on par with what we're receiving. So the first one is mindset. Okay, we talked quite a bit about mindset. So it's becoming very aware about what's going on in your brain when it comes to wealth, and how you spend it, how you use it, what you're basically, what you're doing with it, because that's going to set the foundation to how you manage it. Okay, the next thing is basically skill set. So we're kind of going into a realm where I guess it's kind of like being thrown on a horse that is extremely fast, and you've never ridden a horse, you've never seen someone ride a horse, or you may have in a movie riding past, but they never explained, no one's ever explained anything about riding a horse ever. And this horse just takes off at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That's exactly what it's going to feel like when we receive our inheritance. Yes, it's going to be exciting. Yes, we're going to cover all our bills, but it's like, oh my goodness, the astronomical wealth that's going to be you're going to have available to you is literally like on a horse galloping full speed into just anywhere into the wilderness, and you're going, what am I going to do with all this? So skill set. So we kind of need to keep working on essentially, how the different skills we're going to need to actually manage this money, because it's going to take skill to manage and understand how to use it properly. Essentially, even just how we purchase things, because it's a new system. How we use that money to create more of an impact. So we're delving into divine purpose right now, and so this leads on to the number 3, which is divine purpose. So once we have that skill set, we're going to apply that to essentially give back to our family, and the rest of the world. So it's going to be, this is the other side of the biggest shift. It goes from, okay, what do I need to do to make money so that I can survive? That was the old, essentially, mindset. Now it's, okay, with this vast amount of wealth that I now inherited, how can I best serve the people of Earth? How can I use my gifts to essentially give back? Because when you do that, then you have a big enough vision, and so essentially a legacy that will be passed on, and the money will always go where it needs to go to. If you have something big like that, everything else will just fall into place. And then the 4th thing is assets. Now, I kind of left assets on here because there will come a point where, I have my mindset, I have my skill set, and on my path to my divine purpose. Okay, I want to buy some like assets that I can essentially, pass down to my children, or that I can basically nurture, that type of thing. So with assets, there's kind of a misconception. You have to earn the right to be able to, essentially invest in assets, because if you don't have a foundation of having a, essentially a big cushion, you will always lose your assets. And, people who are essentially investing in the stock market, they've done essentially figures on people who make money at it. And over 10 years, everyone, the best people only break even, and people below that, they usually just lose money. And so when we're in the realm of assets and investments, you have to kind of earn that right to make sure that your programming in your brain is is at the right level to be able to invest in assets. I'm not going to get too much more into that today because yeah, I think that probably for another day we can go into more of that when we go further down the path. Okay, so all right, so I want to do something special today. I got a special guest in the house. Okay, her name is Magella Fox. Okay, she's very special. She's actually my mother. But Magella Fox is an international results coach and the mother of 5 children and 13 grandchildren who, throughout her marriage and living on cattle properties for almost 40 years, gained a wealth of courage, inner strength, resilience. Homeschooling all of her children on school of distance education for over 18 years was, in her own words, a privilege and an honor. Magella has been in the business, been a business owner for over 40 years, 39 in cattle grazing, along with also having a nurturing treatment service and retail business for 28 of those years, network marketing for 5 years, and now coaching. Her constant intrigue with personal development and human behavior resulted in Magella embarking on a seriously committed journey of self-discovery over 15 years ago. One of her defining experiences was walking 800 kilometers, which is still a lot in miles, in 40 days solo across Spain. Wow. Realizing life-changing moments with unforgettable personal and spiritual awakenings. Her mission is to inspire people to reignite the smoldering fire within so that they rise, shine, and connect to themselves, to learn to love who they are and start doing what they love. Magella's wish is for each person to allow their light to shine and feel true gratitude for who they are and the pathway they are on. Okay, so Magella is my mother, and so she's part of the reason why I essentially am who I am, and I've devoted a life to really bettering myself. So Magella's going to take us through a kind of a guided meditation to really help us open our perception to this vast wealth and really connect with that. And then we're going to do a technique after to basically help us really anchor that in. So Mum, Magella, are you there?
I am. Thank you. Hi, everyone, and it's good morning from Terra Australis, and hi to all fellow nationals. So thank you so much, Aaron. I feel very honoured to be here, and thank you for your kind introduction. So a big thank you also to you, my son, for what you're sharing and contributing and your service and care and support to all of us. I feel very privileged to be part of your journey and our journey into this new world. So let's just get straight into it. This is a really safe technique. And so, just be open and trust yourself. There's no right or wrong with anything. And if you can get into that mindset, as long as you're trusting yourself, it's right for you. And this is not a test. It's just trust you. Let's have some fun and enjoy it. So it is a closed eye experience. So if you're driving, that could be a bit of an issue. So you may need to pull over to the side of the road. But I just want you to get yourself comfortable wherever you're sitting, and just, do you need a drink of water? And if you can manage no distractions, probably for the next 12 minutes, that would be really great. So before we start this, I just would like you to point in the direction where you think your future is. So pick up your arm, point to where you think your future is, and now point to where your past is. Great, thank you. This technique, you're going to use your imagination. So everyone imagines differently, and that's okay. Your imagination process may be, you might see things, or maybe it's hearing things or feeling, or maybe it's just actually smelling. Some people just smell, or somehow you just know. You just know. So whatever way you imagine, you are allowed to do it your way. Now, this process can also be conversational. So just feel free to have a dialogue within, or whisper, or if you're on your own, you can speak out aloud. I'll allow time for you to speak. Just before we start, so everyone just mute yourselves, please, so we have the peace and the quiet. And Aaron has a beautiful screenshot for us. Okay, everyone, let's have some fun and get started here. So all you need to do is just follow along with my voice. Before we start, I have a question for you. Is it okay with your conscious and unconscious mind for you to go into your future and for you to be truly aware of it? So please go ahead and take a nice, relaxing, deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently close your eyes. That's right, just like that. Now, as you take another nice, relaxing, deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to imagine floating up out of your body. Now, I don't know how you do this. I don't know how anyone does this. I just want you to imagine floating up. And as you float all the way up out of your body, up, 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 I want you to imagine that you can see yourself or imagine yourself sitting there comfortably in the room or the car that you are now in, knowing that you are totally safe and secure in all ways. As you keep floating all the way up into the sky as far as you can go, all the way up and as far as you can go, I want you to observe down below your stream of time. You have your past stretched off in one direction and your future stretched off in another direction. And from way up above, I want you to observe your stream of time. And how would you describe your stream of time to someone? How would you describe your past? What does it look like? How would you describe your future as you look towards your future? What does that look like? What I want you to do now is to imagine floating out into the future. And as you float out into the future, that's it, keep going. I want you to float all the way out until you are right above you at the age of 80. So go ahead and float out along your future stream of time to you at 80. Now, as you look all the way down below at this moment in time, looking at you at the age of 80, you are alive, you are well, and you're very vibrant. I want you to speak out about what you see. What do you observe about you at 80 down below? Now, I want you to imagine floating down into your stream of time, and I want you to find yourself sitting comfortably in the lounge room of your amazing dream home. Whatever you deem to be your champion of homes, your dream home. It has floor to ceiling windows and majestic views. So float down inside the moment. And now You are looking through your own eyes, hearing the sounds around you and feeling the feelings. And as you do so, you realize that within your own body, you have plenty of energy, plenty of fuel left in the tank. This is by no means the end of your life, but simply a midway point. There is still plenty more life left to go. You can feel it in the terms of the energy that's in your body. Now here you are at 80 years old, a very successful time in your life. You have achieved incredible things in all areas of your life, and you are now basking in your achievements. You feel full of joy, wisdom, and gratitude for all the freedoms you enjoy. Because of your wealth, the wealth that you have always deserved and are truly worthy of, you have your freedom of time. You have your freedom of location anywhere in the world, and you are financially free. You undoubtedly were and still are very organized with your money and your wealth, and obviously are very appreciative of it, because as we know, money goes where it is most organized and most appreciated. Now, just share, what do you see? Are your eyes twinkling? What are they doing? Is there a smile on your face? Is there anyone with you? How are you holding yourself? How do you walk through the world? How do you speak? How much love is in your body? How do you feel? How do you feel about yourself, about your world? How empowered do you feel? Just observe what you have created, what you have manifested into your world, your family, your community, what you have given back to others, to the world. Tell me, what is it like to be such an incredibly successful national, a free living man or woman? Breathe it all in. Wallow in success. Savor it and let it fill you up like a warm waterfall of appreciation, and feel the true gratitude for your journey thus far. Now, I want you to go ahead and float back up and float back, leaving all of that out there, knowing that it is yours. And I want you to float all the way back along your stream of time until you find yourself right above, up above this present moment in time. Now go ahead and float back down inside yourself and back down into the present moment. As you connect in with yourself, just notice how you feel and how you feel about your future. Take a nice, relaxing, deep breath and allow yourself to become aware of the chair you're sitting on and the temperature of the room that you're in. Wriggle your fingers and wriggle your toes and put a smile on your face. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. And welcome back.
Thank you, Mother. That was amazing.
You're very welcome.
Yes, I appreciate that so much. Okay, I have goosebumps from that. So yeah, so welcome back for most of you. So we're at 3:01, so I'm probably gonna take another 10 minutes. Sorry, I tried to make it at 3 o'clock on the dot. Yeah, so the last little bit is basically just a process that we essentially do to help create more higher self-worth for us to be able to bring the money in. Okay, essentially, in all the techniques that I've ever learned throughout the the 20-something years, I'm sure my mum would say the same thing. It all comes down to listing. If you can list stuff out and keep listing until you essentially break through the glass ceiling of your mind, this is the most efficient way of doing that. Okay, so basically what we're going to do, this is basically going to be homework, but we can kind of get started. Okay, so at least 100 reasons why I deserve my inheritance. So you're going to want to get a piece of paper. You can do it now, or you can do it later if you want. So a piece of paper, and write out 100 reasons why I deserve my inheritance. Now, 100 reasons is the absolute minimum. Okay, if you want to really have this process have a profound effect on your life and being able to manage the money and what to do with it, then you are going to want to do 500. And if you're the part of the 1% that can do 1,000, then that's going to even have a vast, even bigger increase of not only your self-worth, mindset, and pretty much everything. So, very least 100. You're doing good at 500. 1,000 is like, that's 1%. So this is what you're basically gonna do. So now we're gonna split it up. Okay, so sometimes this is a little bit difficult because there's a lot of areas in your life. So you're gonna basically split up your page or pages. Okay, I mean, when I first did this, I had five or six pages. 1, 2, 3. So 6 pages, and on every page I basically did these titles. So so the first page, personal growth and spirituality. So essentially all the reasons why you deserve more wealth when it comes to that topic. Okay, mental understanding and new skills. All the reasons why you deserve wealth when it comes to that topic. Your divine purpose, going in deep to what your gifts are and what you're going to give back to the world as to why you deserve your inheritance. Home and lifestyle. We deserve, profound house and lifestyle and that type of thing. And so what is that for you in deserving, your inheritance? And then the impact of the family and friends, how you're going to give back. I know for myself, I missed out on a few birthdays and a few Christmases. So that's going to be what I'm gonna give back to my sisters and my parents and things like that. So no, how are we going to help out your family and friends? That also in that one there goes with a partner too. So if you're single at the moment, and so your future husband or whatever, that'll go on that one as well. Okay. So why you deserve that wealth. And the last one is essentially your health, well-being, and recreation. So I mean, they're kind of all going together, because recreation is kind of helps with your, essentially mental health, because we all love to play. So I'm going to send these two slides out to everyone, just so that you have them, and you don't have to worry about essentially writing them all down right now. So at least you'll have them. So in every one of these essentially groups of topics, you're going to look at that, look at each one of those for past, reasons why you did certain things in the past, present, what you're doing currently, and then for future as well. Okay, so you're going forward, present, and then future. I mean, back, present, and future in all those realms. So it covers every angle, no matter what or how you look at your inheritance. You are literally anchoring in why you deserve this inheritance, why your self-worth is just nothing but appreciation for having it, and you deserve it, and you believe that with every ounce of your being. Now, the more things you write down, the more you're going to believe that and take that into your heart. Okay, you'll have a massive shift with a little bit. You'll have, but it'll get exponentially better as you go higher. So, I'm going to, okay. We kind of need to hold each other accountable for this one. I want you to basically put a Y in the message box that you're going, when you get to 100, you're going to tell someone in this group, whether it be me or anyone else, that when you get to 100 reasons, you go, I got my 100. That's what you're going to say. I got my 100. Okay, this is kind of to hold you accountable. All right. Actually, you know what? It can all be to me. I'm going to hold you accountable. So you can send it to a few people if you want to encourage other people. Like, I got my 100. I'm like, have you got yours yet? I'm totally okay with that. A little bit of what do you call it? Healthy competition. I like that too, especially within the right direction. Otherwise, send me when you get to the 100. And if you get more, let me know. Yeah, if you get to 500, 1,000, I would love to hear it. I'm going to redo this myself too. So I'm right there in the mix with you guys, because the more we do this, the more we collectively anchor this in. In Mum's meditation, she talked about money goes where it's the most organized. What's the other thing? Most organized. I'm forgetting, Mother. Might have helped me out.
And most appreciated.
There it is. Yeah, most
fair
organized.
a fair exchange, win-win.
Yes, and ultimately, that's literally the base statement that's going to carry through for you forever when it comes to your inheritance. I think that's it. Do we have any questions regarding what the process is, or pertaining what I've talked about today with your situation? Do we have any questions at all before we wind up and finish today? Okay, I think we're good. All right. So if you have any questions or anything comes up after we do this, let me know. More than happy to help out in any way I can. Just create more clarity. I think we're going to probably do some more of these. We're going to go into a little bit more deeper dive with how to maybe help some of the mindset things to basically dissolve them completely, because the technique, like essentially the listing today, is just to create more self-worth as to why you deserve your inheritance. But eventually we're going to have to look at some of these programs that are running in the background. So that will be basically limiting your ability to, really impact the world a little bit. So we probably will do something more along those lines next time. But I think this is a good place to start. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for turning up today, and people on the recording as well if you missed it. The first step is you taking the initiative to basically step up and go, okay, you know what, I'm taking responsibility and ownership for my inheritance, and I know the gravity of what we're going to be the custodians of. That is basically the biggest step, and so I honor you. I love and respect all of you, and I'm so excited for us to share this new adventure together. So all the best, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.